You're watching the Oklahoma City Thunder Squad Show. I'm Tyler Jones, and I'm going to talk all about SGA. He does it again. What did he do this time? We'll explain coming up in just a bit.
I'm Rylan Stiles. I'm going to tell you why J-Dub is heating up at the perfect time for Oklahoma City.
I'm Jeremy Lamb. I'm going to talk about the big-time matchup tonight against the Spurs.
This is Locked On Thunder Squad Show, the twice-a-week show where Thunder talk gets real. No filters, no fluff, just raw takes, sharp opinions, and straight-up passion for the game, the way only Locked On Podcast Network knows how. Let's drop some dimes and squad up. The Thunder Squad Show starts now.
What's good, everybody? Tyler Jones here. Welcome in to the Thunder Squad Show, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Now, the number one sports podcast network. And before we go any further in today's show, folks, today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. If you want to be right in the middle of the action this season, visit FanDuel.com and place your NFL live bets all season long. That is FanDuel.com. We got a big show ahead. This is our last show before Christmas. A big game coming up on Christmas is your Oklahoma City Thunder take on the San Antonio Spurs. They'll also play them tonight as well in San Antonio. We'll touch on that in our third segment of this back-to-back battle that they got going on this week. They played just about a week ago or so in the NBA Cup semifinals. We'll talk about SGA coming up in just a moment. J-Dub starting to come into his own. Nice night last night against Memphis. And then how about Carlson stepping up to the table? Thunder were a little shorthanded when it came to their bigs last night, but he did a good job getting the job done. Let's begin with the reigning MVP of the NBA, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, with another really solid showing last night. I was there. Rylan was there for it as the Thunder pulled off a 119-103 win over Memphis. And the Thunder came into this game losing two of their last three. But as this game got close, the deficit got down to 4. The Thunder really put it on late in the fourth quarter to pull away and win this game by 16. And Shai finished the night with 31 total points, 10 rebounds, and 8 assists. And it was the 100th straight 20-point game or more for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Just incredible what he's done now for over a season of time. Jeremy, we'll start with you. 100 games of 20 points or more. That's insane.
Yeah, it's hard to have 20 points in an NBA game just alone. So to do it 100 times, it just speaks to his work ethic. It speaks to his consistency. It just, when you're in the NBA and you playing all these games, being consistent is one of the biggest things. And for him to be able to do that over and over and over again, it's just, like I said, it just speaks to his work ethic. It speaks to his consistency. It speaks to just how he approached the game. And for him to be able to do that for 100 games straight is a huge accomplishment for him. So, congrats to him. And, and they're winning. It's not like he's just scoring and they're not winning. It translates to winning. So, like I said, congrats to him. Congrats to OKC. But he's doing this thing and he's going to keep going.
Rylan, I look at that stretch. 100 straight games, 20 points or more. And if there would have been a game where he would have had 19 or 18 in that stretch, no one would have batted an eye about it. But just the mark of consistency, night in, night out, that makes life so much easier for Mark Daigneault and company, Rylan, that they know going in to every game that they're going to get at least 20 points out of Shai.
Yeah, it is remarkable. And I mean, Jeremy played with great players. He was a great player and a great scorer. It's hard to score 20 points, period. It's hard to do it every single night and not end up at 19, not end up at 18. There's the reason why this 100-game streak put Shai in sole possession of the number 2 longest active streak, only surpassing Wilt and still chasing Wilt at the number 1 spot. Like, it's a very select few who can get these numbers that Shai does. And we're talking Wilt Chamberlain, this larger-than-life figure who played in a bygone era in the NBA. And so now he sits here needing 26 more games of 20-plus points to tie for that top spot, and, of course, 27 straight more games to take sole possession of number 1. But the fact that he's even gotten this close, you think back to the other all-time great scores in your head, none of them sniffed what Shai is doing. It is truly remarkable. And that fourth quarter is an example of that. Not only did he get to, the 20-point mark, but he scored 12 points in that quarter in 10 minutes on 71% shooting. And it ended up giving him over a 30-point game against Memphis and putting that game away, to Jeremy's point, still impacting winning. This is not something that they're chasing. This is not something that they are gunning for, throwing caution to the wind. It's happening within the flow of the team, within the flow of the game, and it's helping them get these wins. So I think that Shai, his consistency is unmatched, and I think that it is a testament to the work that he puts in behind the scenes, as Mark pointed out last night. It's remarkable that he continues to be able to do this, and not just this, but doing it at such a high level in so many different things. He's shooting a career-high 44% from three, which is in the 93rd percentile. All of a sudden, he can expand his game to the three-point line. He's shooting 70% at the rim, a career-high 54% in the mid-range. You think Shai is a mid-range scorer. He's even better at that this year so far than he was a year ago. But he gets it done in the 95th percentile in the pick and roll, 95th percentile in isolation, and 95th percentile in transition. He does it in every facet, whether it's drives, whether it's pick and roll, isolation, or transition. It's truly impressive, and you just can't say enough great things about Shai to get to this point.
Yeah, and one thing too, as kind of Rylan alluded to there, when you look at Shai's game, the way that he's evolved, it's not just about scoring, and it's not just about getting to the rim. When Rylan mentions his 3-point shot, the way it's come along last night, for folks that may have missed last night's game or need a refresher, Rylan, I would say, was a good embodiment of just kind of what Shai is turning into, of an all-around player. When you look at not just the 31 points, but 10 rebounds and 8 assists. Jeremy, when you have nights like that from Shai, where it's not just the scoring that shows up, but you're going to get the rebounds. I mean, he led this team in rebounding last night, folks, in addition to the 8 assists. I mean, that changes everything when you get those additional elements involved in his game like that, Jeremy. Yeah,
absolutely. When he's so fast and quick with the basketball, if he's getting a rebound, we off and running. They going on a break, and he's making the right passes. You think when somebody is averaging 32 points that they're just hunting shots. But he's not. He's out there, just making the right plays. He's making his teammates better. He's doing what he got to do on both ends of the floor. So, like you said, he's rebounding, he's assisting, and scoring. And I like him playing off the ball too, because, he's arguably the best scorer in the league. So, when you have your best scorer on the team just making the right plays, but also making sure that he's doing what he got to do for the team to win, you can't argue that. So, him, I don't know, rebounding the ball, assisting, I don't know how many points he basically assisted for, but what he's doing is incredible. And I said a couple weeks ago that Jokic is the best player in the league, but I don't know. He's making a huge case right now to be the best player in the league for sure. Not only is he scoring, assisting, rebounding, but they're winning. So I don't know. He's doing his thing.
Rylan, Thunder fans, historically speaking, are going to compare what he's doing to Russell Westbrook. who of course played the same position, the prime years of Russ when he was in Oklahoma City. And if you're going to look at those numbers, you're going to say, okay, Russ was better when it came rebounding wise and assist wise, those statistically speaking. He had that year where he was MVP and averaged a triple double compared to what SGA has had. But SGA has been so efficient and shooting at a much higher percentage. Like maybe he's not, if you want to talk about like in all-time great Thunder history, and I love Russ, this is not a diss on Russ whatsoever, but like if you want to compare, if you want to go down that rabbit hole, this is a much more efficient game in less mistake prone of sorts. That what we're seeing the Thunder getting kind of more out of SGA necessarily, I think, than what they were getting out of Russ years ago.
Yeah, I mean, he is a more efficient player, undoubtedly, at every level than Russell Westbrook was. And I think that also he's just an easier player to build around. He's an easier player to impact winning. Like Russ is an incredible athlete, incredible motor, incredible individual talent. But he had a certain box that he had to play no matter what. And that really influenced who you could put around him and how effective those guys around him could be. I mean, we're talking about the best scorer in the league, and Jeremy Lamb is pointing out that you like whenever he's off the ball too. Like that's very rare to be able to do both. That's very rare to be able to have a guy who has the ability to do it and the humility to do it, playing on and off the ball. And it goes back to that game in Indiana last year with your season on the line. You're facing being down 3-1. He let Jalen Williams take the lead on that for 3 quarters before he closed it out. And he played off of Jalen Williams so well that they were able to save their season and win a championship. And so the fact that you can incorporate Jalen Williams at this high clip, the fact that you can see Chet make this offensive leap alongside of SGA, and the fact that this offense is so much more free-flowing compared to even what the heights of the Russell Westbrook and Kevin Durant tandem was able to achieve, it does speak to how efficient he is and how complimentary he is of his teammates and how he kind of elevates his teammates in such a high way on the court. I think that Russ and Jeremy can touch on this way more than I can, but from all the stories you hear about Russ, I think that he was an amazing teammate off the court and an amazing leader to elevate you individually away from the floor. But then on the floor, you have a guy who can't play off the ball. You have a guy who is prone to some turnovers and a guy who can't really pull up from 3. So you did run into some limitations on the hardwood that were like beyond his control. I mean, I think that Russ has maximized what his individual talent level is. He's a Hall of Famer. He's one of the best point guards to ever play the sport. Like, it's not a knock on Russ. It's just kind of the gifts that these two guys were given and the gifts that they weren't given. So I think that, for example, Russ is a way better athlete than Shai could ever dream of being, but they've maximized themselves in such a way that you look at Shai, it's just easier to plug and play guys next to him. It makes the team building process easier. It makes the team success easier, even though they're both individually historic, all-time, fantastic players.
Jeremy, you played with Russ, you played with KD, and you've been watching SGA here. He's got the MVP. He's got the championship. Do you think has he passed up in when we talk about all-time great Thunder players? Is SGA in your mind ahead of KD and Russ yet, or is he still got work to do?
He's definitely the best OKC player, that's come through. Just simply because they end up winning. You know what I mean? Obviously, KD is one of the greatest all-time. Russ is one of the greatest all-time. But Shai took it to another level. They had to build and build and build. And then once they put the right pieces around him, he, delivered and they won. So, yeah, I mean, I would have to give him the nod. But, as far as like individual players, it's hard to say, but yeah, Sam put a perfect team together, and Shai's the head of the snake, and Shai has said on different interviews that he wanted OKC to know that they won the trade, and That's what he's proven. He's separated himself from every other point guard in the league, every other player in the league, and yeah, I would give it to him for sure.
He's been something else. More to come on the Thunder Squad show. We'll talk about J-Dub as he had a pretty solid night last night against Memphis. We'll talk about that and more as we continue. Stay with us here on the Thunder Squad show. Thunder Squad show continues. Tyler Jones back here with you now. NFL Sundays move fast, one big play, and suddenly everything feels different. That's what makes live betting with FanDuel so exciting. You're not just watching the game, you're reacting to it in real time. With FanDuel, you can place bets as the action unfolds, every drive, every momentum swing, every highlight moment. Live betting is best when the game starts to shift, a receiver gets hot, a defense tightens up, or the momentum flips after a turnover. FanDuel lets you jump into the moment. Live spreads and money lines adjust instantly. Player props update as guys heat up. You can bet next touchdown scores, drive results, totals, and more. It keeps you locked into every snap, every drive, every possibility. So if you want to be right in the middle of the action this season, visit FanDuel.com and place your NFL live bets all season long. FanDuel, the game moves fast, and so can you. Welcome back. Thunder Squad show continues. Tyler Jones, Rylan Stiles, Jeremy Lamb here with you on this very fine Tuesday afternoon. Thank you for tuning in to the Locked On Thunder podcast. Make sure to subscribe and follow the podcast to get all the latest episodes, whether it's the Squad show or whether it's Rylan and what he's got going on every day. And if you need a last-minute holiday gift or someone keeps asking you what you want, make it easy. Ask for the Everydayer Club. Ad-free episodes of this show, exclusive Discord server access, and more. Subscriptions can be gifted. And here's how, folks. All you got to do is head to our link. That is lockedonthunder.supercast.com. That's lockedonthunder.supercast.com is where you can check us out there. For those of you on video, we send you to the first ever 24/7 national NBA YouTube channel. On audio, make sure to make your second listen NBA game night on Locked On NBA. Rylan and others are on that show as well, doing a great job. So, all right, guys, let's talk about J-Dub now. Last night, 24 points against Memphis, 10 of 20 from the field, 6 rebounds, 2 assists in his performance, plus minus of plus 15. Rylan, it's been almost a month since he's been back now. The November 28th game against Phoenix was his first game back. What we saw last night was arguably just as good, if not his best performance we've seen since his return.
Yeah, I think that it was. And I think that what makes me encouraged not only by the output that he had last night against Memphis, it actually goes back to last week in a story that he told at practice of, after Vegas, whenever they had those 4 days off, that was the first time that J-Dub got to practice with this team where he could use his predominant hand and where he could actually shoot the basketball and be active in practice. And I want to know Jeremy's thoughts coming up on this very topic of, like, this is a guy who went through a wrist surgery in the offseason, was away from NBA basketball for 5 months and was limited in how he could prepare and how he could practice leading into the season, and then gets thrown right into the fire of games with no practices because of the condensity of the schedule. And then he gets to practice, and now we're seeing the results of that over the last 3 nights. And so I think that with Jalen Williams, you're looking at a guy who is doing everything right that he can control. And so, like, right now, defensively, he's in the 91st percentile of every defensive action in the NBA. He's in the 91st percentile. He's limiting spot-up shooters to shooting 23% against him. He's 81st percentile defending the pick and roll. And matchups are only scoring against him at the rim at a 25% clip. Like, he's doing the all-defensive thing that he was doing a year ago. You've seen a step up in his playmaking so far. He can control those things. The touch is going to have to come back to him eventually, and it will. You're seeing already his three-point numbers climb to 37%. In the mid-range, he's already up to 42% and climbing from where they started at whenever he first made his season debut. And then The rim finishing will take care of itself, because if he continues to attack the rim as hard as he did last night, getting that poster dunk, you're going to naturally just improve at that aspect. So the fact that the only thing he's missing on a consistent night-to-night basis is his efficiency should give everybody encouragement that he will quickly turn back into the player he was a year ago, which is a top 20 player in this league.
Jeremy, seems like he's well on his way, that he's on the right track a month in from this injury recovery here.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, just seeing, you got to get your rhythm back and stuff like that. But, he's missing little like layups and little floaters that, he'll usually make. But, I mean, just seeing how he explodes to the rim, he's making the right passes. He's, he's just doing everything to take, I don't know, he's taking pressure off of everybody else. What he can do on the floor, he score on all three levels. He does everything that he needs to in terms of just, like I said, finishing, getting to the line, hitting threes, and you see it. I'm happy he got back here. Back on the court that early so that he can get his rhythm going into the playoffs. So just it's always tough coming back from an injury, but the better you play, the more you get your rhythm. It helps you mentally, it helps the team, it helps everything. So when that dunk he had last night, I'm like, man, like that was amazing. He dunked on two people, just exploded off the ground. It's like, man, like he feeling good. So it's great to see him, confident to do that as well, because sometimes you coming from an injury, you're trying to play it nice and you don't want to do too much, but he's doing his thing. So it's good not only for the team but good for him mentally.
Rylan, to give kind of some insights for folks that may not know this, there was you go back to the football season, and am I freezing up here? There we go. Now I'm back. Sorry about that, guys. You go back to football season, and John Mateer, the quarterback of the Oklahoma Sooners, he had a hand injury, and his surgery was done by Dr. Shin, who did the same surgery on Jalen Williams. And I'm not trying to trigger Oklahoma fans that may be watching this show, but let's just put it this way. John Mateer did not play well coming back from that hand surgery done by Dr. Shin, and was not the same quarterback for the rest of the season, although they did go on to make the playoff and lose to Alabama. But I do think when people saw that, and I know there were different injuries, there was a bit of a hesitation like, oh, okay, let's see what happens with Jalen Williams here. But in this first month, I'm not trying to compare injuries with him and Mateer, but if you see how he's playing, a month into this, I think you have to feel pretty good about his progress of how far he is, because this is you have to kind of almost relearn some things with this type of thing. You have to get kind of re-comfortable again of sorts with this, Rylan.
Yeah, I think that also it was such a phenomenon that Dr. Shin became this icon in the state. So then all of a sudden you're comparing notes on how each player looks when they return, but they're completely different in the sense of, Mateer had it done and then played in 2 weeks. J-Dub had the initial surgery 4 months before the season began and then had a cleanup procedure with some screws taken out, in the midst of the season. But it is just different in the sense of how these guys heal, of obviously different sports, obviously different injuries. Right. But you look at J-Dub, and I do think that you should be confident in him, because you're already hearing from himself how much how much that it's changed mentally for him, how he's still learning how to trust his wrist again. You see him attack the basket. I mean, Jeremy, you can talk to this. There was a story written in The Athletic of how much dunking, just a simple dunk, even though it's such a highlight play, it hurts. It hurts to dunk. And the fact that this man did a punch dribble through traffic, rise up and dunks on two guys and emphatically slams it home and then falls on his back because of the reverberation of the slam. Like, he trusts his wrist now to go get it at the rim. And like that play, while it was a highlight play, it's also significant in the sense of encouragement moving forward for what he's going to look like. Because if you are favoring your wrist at all, I don't know that you're trying that.
Yeah, absolutely not. I mean, the way he dunked the ball, it's like he not thinking about his wrist. So when I seen that, I mean, I was laying in the bed. I was sitting there like, oh, really? Yeah, that was an elite play. And that's something that not many people can do. You split the screen and then dunk on two people. Come on now. That's elite. So yeah, he not thinking about his wrist. He good.
Jeremy, going into last night, the Thunder had lost 2 of their last 3. And the injuries have kind of piled up of sorts. Guys are in and out. And even last night, a Memphis team that was without their best player, Ja Morant, this game was probably closer than it should have been, what we expected to be. I don't think most people thought that Shai and these guys would be playing in the fourth quarter, but they were. Still won by 16. That's fine. With that said, are we seeing, whether it's getting J-Dub back or iHeart, some of these others being in and out in the lineup, are we now in a phase with the Thunder where they're in an adjustment period where the injuries are like, all right, we got to figure some things out? Is there an adjustment period you think going on right now?
I don't know. Watching the game, I feel like Memphis hit some big shots. Some of the shots they hit, it's like they're not usually hitting them shots. So, OKC gonna get everybody's best shot. And I feel like that's what happened. But at the end of the day, I never at any point felt like they was going to lose that game. But when you're a championship team, when they want to get to the playoffs. They not worried about the regular season right now. They want to get to the playoffs. So you're gonna drop a couple games, but at the end of the day, Memphis played well. It wasn't that they, a lack of effort or anything like that. Memphis played well. They hit some big shots, and it came down to the stretch. But they did their thing, and they end up winning the game. But I wouldn't say that.
Rylan Stiles, Jeremy Lamb, Tyler Jones here with you on the Thunder Squad Show. We're talking all things J-Dub as he had a solid night last night in the win against the Memphis Grizzlies. Rylan, for J-Dub here, I know a lot of people are going to be focused on Chet when he takes on Wemby. For J-Dub, is this an opportunity for him potentially to kind of take the pressure off of Chet of some sorts and step up and have some big games here?
Yeah, they tried that in Vegas of him and Caruso really handling the primary assignment on Wemby and letting the big man kind of rotate over late and kind of be a roamer defensively. And so they tried that obviously last night with Jaren Jackson Jr. out of necessity because they didn't have a big. But if you go back to that first round series last year, J-Dub was also still the primary defender on Jaren Jackson Jr. And to Jeremy's point, they were awesome against Jaren Jackson Jr. This guy was inefficient as all get out last night, and the Grizzlies, to Jeremy's point, were only in that game because they shot 44% from three. Credit to them for making their shots, but in the paint, they could only muster up 28 points in the paint compared to OKC's 56. That's in large part because of J-Dub and Kenrich Williams and Branden Carlson. And then overall, Memphis shot 41% from the floor. And had 21 turnovers. This Thunder defense really shined last night, and it was almost a bigger deal, than the scoreboard would indicate of how much the Thunder played well last night. But I think that tonight you could see everything from if Wemby plays, you could see him matched up with Chet. You could see him matched up with iHeart. You could see him matched up with J-Dub and Caruso. There's going to be a lot of different options for them, and they do like to put J-Dub on these taller guys and play underneath them and try to use his leverage and then kind of hold these guys up long enough to let a shot blocker like Chet rotate over at the rim. I think that the biggest point about defending Wemby that we'll get into is you've got to change his catch point and make him more of a jump shooter. While he's capable of hitting jump shots, if he beats you as a jump shooter, you tip your cap to him and move on. Like, you do not want this guy around the basket at all. So if J-Dub can push him out further, that'd be great for the Thunder overall. But yeah, he's gonna have his fair share matched up with Wemby for sure.
Rylan already got ahead of me with the tease. We're talking Thunder Spurs on the other side. 2 games in 3 days. It all begins tonight, and then they'll return to Oklahoma City on Thursday. We'll talk about those upcoming matchups as we continue. Stay with us here at the Thunder Squad Show. When Skims announced they were making underwear for men, the reaction made perfect sense. People have been talking about Skims Comfort for years. Most guys, though, stick to whatever they've been buying since college. The same fits, the same waistbands that roll, and a whole lot of settling. Skims Men's changes that. One upgrade, and it's obvious why everyone's been talking. They're designed to feel good, fit right, and actually stay put. No slipping, no sagging, no adjusting. Just genuinely great underwear that makes you feel confident and comfortable. What stood out right away was the fit and the fabric. Soft, supportive, and comfortable all day. They don't ride up, they don't lose their shape, and they hit exactly where they're supposed to be on the thigh. Whether you're working, traveling, working out, or just hanging out at home, these feel better than anything you used before. Shop Skims Men's now at skims.com, and when you place your order, choose podcast in the post-purchase survey and select our show from the drop-down to let them know we sent you. Plus, the Skims Holiday Shop is open, so if you're looking for the perfect gift this season, Skims has you covered. Welcome back. Thunder Squad Show rolls on. Jeremy Lamb, Rylan Stiles, Tyler Jones back here with you now. The Oklahoma City Thunder set to face a familiar foe tonight as well as Christmas Day on Thursday, going up against the San Antonio Spurs. And if you recall, the last time these two teams met, it was not the night the Thunder had hoped for. In the NBA Cup semifinals, the Spurs got the win 111-109. Tonight they'll play in San Antonio. Thursday they'll play in Oklahoma City. Jeremy, let me start with you. Just the fact that they're playing on Christmas. I know they got a game tonight, but looking ahead to Thursday, first time since 2017 that they'll have a home Christmas game. First time they played on Christmas since 2018. That alone is a big deal in itself for the Thunder to be back on Christmas Day again.
Yeah, Christmas games are huge. Like, if you got a Christmas game, if you've elevated your team to where you can play on Christmas, it's a huge accomplishment in itself. So, yeah, it's funny that they playing tonight and they also playing Thursday, but I don't know. It's a huge game. Well, huge games, because when you're a championship team and you're trying to maintain dominance over the league, and then you got somebody who just beat you, and arguably somebody who's, one of the best players in the league, you don't want to give them no confidence. So I think these two games are huge just because, they want to, OKC want them to know, like, look, y'all not, it's not y'all turn yet. It's our turn right now. And so yeah, it's a big game tonight, but it's also a big game on Christmas because everybody gonna be watching. Everybody gonna, see, like, look, can they compete with them? Who can compete with OKC? And I don't know, if they win tonight and then they win on Christmas, it's like, all right, they still on top. But if the Spurs win, they're gonna be like, man, we can beat them in a series. And so I think they're two big games. But it's a huge accomplishment that they got, Christmas games and like I always say, it's great for the fans, it's great for the organization. It's just great for basketball to see Wemby on Christmas, Chet on Christmas, Shai on Christmas. It's just, and I'm gonna be tuned in. So I'm excited about it.
Rylan, for this Oklahoma City team, you look back at losing that game a couple weeks ago in the NBA Cup semifinals, and now playing this team 2 times in a 3-day stretch, one of them being on Christmas. We mentioned how Shai takes these games against the Clippers, his former team, personal. I would think that everybody, especially Chet with his history with Wemby that we've talked about, these next 2 games are going to be pretty crucial for Oklahoma City. I don't think it's enough for them. I don't think they're going to be satisfied with just winning on Christmas. I think they want everything that they can to make a statement with winning both these 2 games convincingly here.
Yeah, for sure. And you look at this team, just how they responded to that loss against Portland, where that they come out in the Paycom Center the next time against Portland 2 weeks later. And not only did they blow them out, but they admit after the game, yeah, we were thinking about that Portland game that they lost before the game started. And you saw Shai, doing a somersault into the bench during a timeout. He was so animated, so fired up that they were getting back on track against Portland. They're going to have that to the nth degree against San Antonio, because to Jeremy's point, when you play those standalone games like in Vegas and on Christmas Day coming up, it creates a lot of fodder. You can't fly under the radar. The entire NBA world will have a take about it. And when you lose those games on standalone nights, you're on the wrong side of those takes a lot of the time. And so they had to sit there and listen to that for 4 straight days while they were off. And now they get their chance to get back on track against San Antonio. So they will take it seriously. And the biggest key is going to be who can have a Jeremy Lamb performance, because the Thunder in Vegas shot 24% from 3. Jeremy Lamb on Christmas Day, just a ho-hum plus 12 in the box score, 50% from 3, 62% from the floor in the Mecca, in the Garden. Can somebody step up as Jeremy Lamb did and knock down some shots against San Antonio?
Jeremy, Rylan brought it up. Take me back to that day in the Garden.
It was amazing. Just being in the building. I appreciate that, Rylan, for the love. It was just amazing. Just I think that was my first Christmas game.
Yeah.
And just seeing all the Christmas trees and just seeing all the fans, everybody was just happy. And then when I was able to get in the game and just hitting a couple shots, you get a little confidence, shoot a couple more, you're like, oh, that went in too. So that was a great day for me, just knowing, like, I don't know how I came up, how hard I worked, and just being able to hit a couple shots on Christmas Day. It was amazing.
Yeah, I would think. And Rylan, we mentioned this rivalry that people are trying to build between the Thunder and Spurs. I don't know how this is all going to play out, but if this is a close game, if things get feisty, if we've mentioned the NBA wants this to turn into something, that if something were to happen, this is a good chance to kind of get this story started of sorts here. That Thursday, even though it's not a playoff setting, there's no Western Conference championship or anything like that on the line here. There could be the chance to get something brewing here between these two teams.
Yeah, the fuse has already been lit. It's just a matter of time before it detonates. Like you saw Wemby before the game, after the game, take veiled shots at Oklahoma City. Then they won, and you saw Wemby on the court, cussing guys up and down one side or the other on the floor while he was doing them in, while he was the best player on the floor that night. It's like it's already there. The media wants it to happen. Wemby wants it to happen. These two teams are not going to escape one another. I think that they'll be playing in the postseason for a while against each other as soon as this season. So, this is just going to be, again, the growing stages of a potential rivalry, of a future rivalry between these two sides. And the fact that the the Vegas game looked like that and felt like that from a standpoint of the shots in the media, the intensity on the court. It's only going to continue on a big day like Christmas Day, like tonight in San Antonio. If Wemby, for example, is going to talk to these guys that way on the court, the Thunder have a little spunk in them. They won't take that for long. So anything's possible. And that the Thunder have the potential to blow out any team in the NBA. So if they get a blowout win tonight and then come back on Christmas Day and playing the Spurs, where the Spurs are now the team not reeling, but the Spurs are now the team hungry to wash a bad taste out of their mouth, then that opens up a whole new Pandora's box. So the fact that this is a true coin toss of a game where you could tell me that, 3-4 outcomes could happen, and I'd believe every single one of them. This Thunder team cannot be challenged like that by almost any other team not named Denver, the way that San Antonio can. So it just leads itself to not only great basketball, but great storylines. And so we'll see how the Thunder respond. They handled Wemby's shots in the media with great maturity every time that they were asked about them. But whenever you get the win, if the Thunder do either tonight or on Thursday, then it's your turn that you can say some things, and we'll see if they take that shot or not. So it's just there's just such a great possibility for this to spiral into something bigger in the future. And that's what the NBA is hoping for. That's what everyone is hoping for, because this league is more fun whenever you have rivalries, whenever you have games that you can circle on the calendar and know for sure these two teams are going to play hard tonight. And you have that with Oklahoma City and San Antonio.
Jeremy, I think the average NBA fan, when they see that their team is playing, for the most part in the regular season, they don't care who they're playing against or what channel it's on, they're watching. But there are more eyeballs when we get these national games of the rest of the league that pays attention. And we're talking about the stage being the Christmas games. For Jeremy, as somebody that's been there as a player, do you get a little more hyped up when we're talking about playing on national TV or playing on a Christmas game, as opposed to a night like tonight, for example, where the Thunder are playing on FanDuel Sports Oklahoma on a Tuesday night, and it's a regional audience and all this, is there a feeling in the locker room of how different it is, like going into this, for example, of Thursday's game versus tonight's game of that stage?
Yeah, absolutely. You definitely want to be ready for the biggest games. But the thing about OKC that's good, they don't care if it's a Christmas game, if it's a random Tuesday, if it's a random Wednesday, they don't care. They get ready for every game. But you definitely, if you got a Christmas game the night before, it's like, yo, let's drink some water. Let's eat some chicken and veggies. Let's make sure we do what we're supposed to do, because, like you said, it's a lot of eyeballs on you. Everybody watching. And that's when you want to show, like, we here. We doing this. This is who we are. So, yeah, it's definitely a lot of it's different in the locker room when you got a big game, but at the same time, you got to treat every game the same way, and that's how OKC is doing. So, yeah, that's why they're great, not just because they can play on Christmas, but because they play every night, no matter what day it is.
Rylan, we mentioned it's been 8 years since the Thunder last hosted a Christmas game. You and I, we mentioned we were there last night, that game against Memphis. It was a national televised game. It was on Peacock and NBCSN. And then you got this game Thursday that's on ABC, with the platform on Christmas Day and everything. With you being in the building every day, how different atmosphere-wise does the crowd get more amped up for a Christmas game as opposed to just any other game going on during the week? Do you expect the environment to feel much bigger, much more intensity in there?
Yeah, I expect it to be rivaling that of a playoff game, as close to a playoff game as you can get on Thursday, because of what this fan base is. And I mean, everyone can see it. I mean, Jeremy, from a player standpoint, you can see it. Tyler, you can see it as well, being from here. Like, this fan base is uniquely smart about the inner workings of the NBA and the inner workings of market sizes. Like, they understand that for the third smallest market in the NBA to be a staple on the Christmas Day slate as they were during the Russell Westbrook and Kevin Durant era is wildly impressive, but also is almost unheard of. And it is unheard of, frankly, of you seeing these other small market teams have never once played on Christmas yet. And they cherish those memories because this is far from guaranteed. It's not like New York, who gets to play at the 11 a.m. tip every single Christmas Day, whether they're good, bad, or indifferent. This is something that whenever it ended in 2018, and then, of course, you go through your rebuild, you were never guaranteed to get another Christmas Day game. Again, there's still franchises who've been in their cities longer than Oklahoma City's had a team that have yet to play on Christmas Day. And now to be back at this point where you're talking dynastically about this Thunder team, they're going to be on Christmas Day again next year. And for as long as this core is together, it is such a unique experience. And it's such a fortunate experience for a market like this that I think that they're going to be up for it, because, you heard the whispers of it during the rebuild of like, are they ever going to get back to being a Christmas Day game, being a Christmas Day featured team? And now not only are you back, but you're right in the thick of things. And that's never promised to a market this size. And so they really care about being on Christmas Day. And it's a market that they will build their festivities. They will build their holiday celebrations around this game on Thursday. And that kind of buy-in from a community is rare, and I think it's going to lead to a fantastic atmosphere.
Yeah, I think so. Should be a lot of fun. Can't wait to see how it plays out tonight in San Antonio, then back in Oklahoma City on Thursday for that doubleheader against the Spurs. Final segment, let's talk about Branden Carlson. Had a good night last night against the Memphis Grizzlies. What's his role look like going forward? We'll explain more as we continue here on the Thunder Squad Show. The holidays always show up faster than we expect, and if you're still putting together gifts, last-minute decor, or getting your home ready for guests, Wayfair has you covered. Whether you need a quick room refresh, new bedding, or those final seasonal touches, Wayfair makes it easy to get what you need fast. Wayfair truly is your one-stop shop for everything home, with decor, furniture, kitchen, essentials, and gifts for every style and every budget, all delivered quickly and easily. Their selection is huge. Bedding, decor, kitchen gear, kids' room updates. I was able to find everything in one place. It's so easy to shop by style. It helps you pick pieces that actually fit your home instead of guessing. The Wayfair items you order will instantly refresh your space without a big project. Get last-minute hosting essentials, gifts for all your loved ones, and decor to celebrate the holidays for way less. Head to wayfair.com right now to shop all things home. That's WAYFAIR.com. Wayfair. Every style, every home. Wayfair, proud partner of the Thunder Squad Show. Welcome back to the Thunder Squad Show. Tyler Jones, Rylan Stiles, Jeremy Lamb back here with you now. Let's talk about Branden Carlson. Good night for him last night in 25 minutes. Had 11 points, 4 of 7 from the field, 3 of 6 from three-point range, 3 rebounds, 2 assists. Rylan, I'll start with you on this one. You've given Mr. Carlson here a ton of credit. What he's developed as a two-way guy, and in particular how well he capitalized on his time in the G League. Thunder were a bit shorthanded when it came to bigs, and when he had his name called, he was ready last night.
Yeah, he certainly was. And I think that this goes back to kind of tying into the last segment of this Thunder fan base is also really spoiled of how much success that they've had at the top of the roster, and even these two-way guys. Like you look at the fact that they've hit on Lou Dort, they've hit on AJ Mitchell, they've hit on Aaron Wiggins. Like they've hit on so many two-way guys that it's no longer a surprise when a two-way guy steps up. However, whenever you look at two ways, Branden Carlson is in the top 90% of like what you could ever hope a two-way guy becomes. Like a guy who on a two-way contract has helped you beat the Cavs last year, who were the best team in the East, who, as you're shorthanded, help you beat the Jazz and Grizzlies. The fact that a two-way big man has contributed to 3 wins for this team is already more than most two-way guys do. The vast majority of two-way contract players, and even in Oklahoma City where they've had the highest success rate of them all, They're nondescript players. They go in and out without a trace, and you don't even really think of a standout moment or a standout performance. And the fact that Branden Carlson has 3 already in a year and a half of playing here in Oklahoma City, it's really impressive. And he does have some functionality for this team. I mean, the fact that he can, horizontally space the floor as a 3-point shooter, the fact that he can catch lobs, he has to get a little bit better with his hands because if it's not a lob, he sometimes can bobble the possession away. But he has some deficiencies there. He's a really nice drop big defensively, but you can only play him in drop. So again, it really limits him and it limits the style of play the Thunder can play with him on the court. However, he's been so functional for Oklahoma City as a break glass in case of emergency big man that the value he provides OKC, you wouldn't mind seeing the Thunder move on from Moose at the deadline to free up a roster spot and convert him for insurance for the postseason. Whenever you talk about how Jay Will out tonight with right heel bursitis, how iHeart has dealt with this right solar strain, how Chet, it can get banged up. Anybody can get banged up at any given moment. So as an insurance big man, Branden Carlson has really hit the mark for this team, and I think that he's really deserved a shot to finish out the year on a standard contract and be eligible for the postseason.
Jeremy, the Thunder and their G League program as well as anybody. Carlson here, another success story of what this organization thrives on again.
Yeah, he plays winning basketball. He takes the right shots. He makes the right plays. Just watching his movements, it's just, I like the way he plays the game because it's an unselfish way to play. When you're in the NBA and you got, all this money on the line, you got playing time on the line, it's like he doesn't care about that. He just wants to win. He wants to make sure that, he's doing what he can to help the team, get a W at the end of the night. So, he can score on all 3 levels. I said before on the show that he dunks the basketball. He's a tall guy who wants to dunk. It's not a lot of people like that. Some people try to do little layups and all that. Nah, he's dunking the ball. He got nice touch around the rim, and then he can step out and shoot the 3. So just watching his game and seeing how he plays off of Shai and how he plays off of J-Dub, how he plays off of AJ Mitchell at times, like he's the perfect piece. He's one of those guys that you need in the playoffs because, like I said, he's tough. He knows exactly how to play, and he wants to win. So, he stepped up big the other night, and that's definitely somebody you want in your rotation.
Yeah, and as far as Jeremy mentions with the rotation, Rylan, talking about going forward from here, with the opportunity he was given in the way that he stepped up and capitalized, whether if they have some injuries in the rotation or just finding him some minutes, I think that he's played well enough that we certainly should see more of him going forward from here, I would think.
I think that when they're fully healthy, the minutes are harder to come by because you look at what this front court is with the double big lineups of Chet and iHeart, the single big lineups of one of Chet and iHeart. You still have Jay Will, who you really like and want to incorporate. But you just saw last night that the fact that you want to see some small ball actions from Oklahoma City. You want to see Caruso at the 5 still, J-Dub at the 5 still, Kinrich at the 5 still. And so then the minutes are just hard to find for a guy like Branden Carlson. But I think that the whole point of Carlson's role would be to be an insurance policy because you can't be promised that you're going to have a full complement of your front court. They haven't had it yet all season long. We're over a quarter of the way into it yet, and they haven't been able to have all of those options available to them. It's been 2 of the 3 options, 2 of the 4 options here and there, and so he's been able to fill in admirably at times. I think that he's still going to be a fill-in player, but moving forward, even tonight, whenever you're down Jay Will, you could get him in the mix a little bit, but there's certain matchups where because of his deficiencies, you can't play him in. and against Wemby and his ability to space the floor and Carlson's need to play drop, unless you're going to go to a zone, you can't really play him against Wemby and get away with it entirely. So it'll be very interesting to see what his rotation looks like moving forward.
Well, and a point that you raise when it comes to the rotation and availability, Rylan, that I would add to that is that in all likelihood, they're not going to have every front court player healthy all the time, just as we've seen all season long here. And that's where I see for Carlson, yes, you're right. If everybody's healthy, there's just not enough minutes to go around. But for him, it's got to be staying ready, because those opportunities, Jeremy, based on what we've seen so far this season, are likely going to present themselves again.
Yeah, I mean, he's proven that he can play at a high level. So yeah, it's kind of tough to find minutes. To Rylan's point, it's tough to find minutes on a championship team. You know, you gotta stick with who you're winning with, but at the same time, it's like if you see people, working hard and doing their thing, it's you want to play them, but it's tough to play them. You can't just take somebody else out the lineup after they've proven themselves and, stuff like that. So, but I will say, and I'm about to switch the subject, somebody who has proven themselves is Cason Wallace. That man he need to be in the starting lineup. I think we should go small ball, bring Ihart off the bench for Chet, whatever it is. But Cason Wallace is the best defender in the league.
Defensive Player of the Month.
He's the best defender in the league. Like, no question about it. No one gets an easy shot on him.
Jeremy, I've heard people argue that maybe Lou Dort's time is coming to an end in Oklahoma City, and that's where Cason Wallace potentially slides in.
Nah, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't replace Dort, but I would go small ball. I would put J-Dub at the 4, and I would have Shai, Lou, Case, and then because Cason Wallace, he got to guard starters. He is too good on defense.
Yeah,
he's too good on defense. You might could take him out early and try to, like whatever the minutes, and try to get him in with the second unit. But nah, he's too elite. It's too many people that's good on offense to where he could shut that down.
I got one more thing for both of you, but first, I got to tell you all something. I want to thank everybody for tuning in to the Locked On Thunder podcast, where we have continuing coverage, and Rylan's got you covered the rest of the week with everything going on with your OKC Thunder. Make sure to subscribe and follow the Locked On Thunder podcast so you get all the latest episodes. If you need a last-minute holiday gift, or somebody keeps asking you what you want, make it easy. Ask for the Everyday or Club ad-free episodes of this show, exclusive Discord server access, and more. Subscriptions can be gifted as well at lockedonthunder.supercast.com. It's lockedonthunder.supercast.com. For those of you on video, we'll send you the first ever 24/7 national NBA YouTube channel. On audio, make sure to make your second listen NBA Game Night on Locked On NBA. All right, so this is my final question that I will pose to the both of you before we get out of here, and we got just over a minute remaining. Rylan Stiles, what do you want the Oklahoma City Thunder to get for Christmas?
I think that's some consistency from everyone, really, but in particular, let's go with Chet Holmgren's offense. He's shown such great flashes of a year 3 leap, scoring the basketball at all 3 levels, and as long as he can parlay that into consistency, like J-Dub did last year. I mean, you look at J-Dub, he showed these flashes heading into Christmas Day, but he was still inconsistent. He found that consistency heading into the All-Star break and afterward. If Chet has that same progression, you're looking at another All-NBA player alongside of a caliber guy like J-Dub and Shai. So I think that Chet's consistency takes care of a lot of this, and of course, three-point percentage consistency takes care of a lot of stuff too.
Jeremy, real quick, how about you? What do you want for the Thunder for Christmas?
Casey Wallace in the starting five.
I want another winning streak. I want them to go on a winning streak and just, have fun playing basketball and make sure they have their joy. I don't want them to look and see they stress and stuff like that. I want them to go on a winning streak and have fun doing it.
Joy to the Thunder this holiday season. Guys, we got to get out of here. Real quick, what I want is for the Thunder to not just beat the Spurs, but I want Chet to own Wemby, specifically on Thursday. Tonight would be nice too, but Thursday for a national audience, that'd be great to see.
Is Chet playing tonight?
Say again?
Just playing tonight.
Is Chet playing tonight?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
So we'll look forward to that. Rylan, real quick, you got more coverage on the channel the next few days?
That's right. You can check out the recap of tonight's game on Locked On Thunder after the game is over. We'll also have a mailbag podcast for Christmas morning, of course, recapping the Spurs game on Christmas Day right after the game. So plenty more in store at Locked On Thunder throughout this week.
Y'all, thanks for joining us. Have a great Christmas and a happy holiday to all. And we'll see you back here next time on the Thunder Squad Show. For Jeremy Lamb, I'm not Rylan Stiles. I'm Tyler Jones. For Rylan Stiles as well. Have a great Christmas. We'll see you next time. So long, everybody.